Hey, welcome back. So the last time we were in this location, you saw how I was building this garden and the process of putting it together. Now we're back at a later date, and what I've done was fight with the weather for first off. It's been up and down, cold, hot, rain, and then sometimes a little bit of hail in the mid-afternoon. So it's been quite a journey trying to get this accomplished. So what we've done, or what I've done, is added the fencing to the garden to keep out all the animals. So that's the goats and the chickens. Especially the goats, because they'll just eat anything. They're just like lawnmowers. And you might actually hear William in the background, and that's because we separated him from the females because he's in full rut and he can't leave him alone. So you know how boys can be when they're in rut. So let's stay on track. Now the fencing I got from the goat pen area, I built that last year. I built two different sections. The one section I built was supposed to be for our pygmy goat. However, we didn't end up using that, and so I took that down and used it for this garden area, which ended up being a perfect amount. And I do have to go and button it up a little bit, fix up the barbed wire, add a couple pieces of fencing here and there as well. And so what I did with the fencing was I wrapped it around all the wood that I was able to nail to the actual garden, and then to tie in the bottoms to the actual logs, what I did was I used residential wire staples, steel staples to be precise. As an electrician, I had some laying around, and so I figured I would do that. In the corners, in the round corners there, I just took some pieces of fencing apart and made some tie wire out of that, just to fasten it to that as well. But it seems to be working. The chickens and the goats have been staying away from the area. Not like there's anything to eat in here, but it is something to deter them from coming in. So after I did that, I went around and I picked up a lot of the stones out of the garden, and I still have a little bit more to do. You don't want a lot of rocks and stones in your garden. You want it a nice fluffy soil. So a little bit more here to do, but my planting area is pretty much rock free. And I don't have to maintain the whole area rock free because we are doing beans and peas in here. And that's the contraption I have behind here that I've built in the past few days. And this is the trellis system that I've come up with. I looked at different ways of doing trellises. Some people will use fencing here, like I have around the garden. However, I didn't have any available. We haven't gone to town in a while and don't look at going into town for a while. So I had to develop a different system, and I had a bunch of twine laying around in the garage, actually 9,000 feet to be precise. And I decided to do this myself. And what did I do? Why did I decide to do this? Well, one, I didn't feel like going into the forest and finding all these stakes. To be exact, we have just over 200 beans that we are planning on planting in here. So it'd be quite a task to go out in the forest, find 200 stakes, and then go around staking them all and making sure that they don't fall over. I wanted something that will be secure so it won't topple over, and where I can also grow the abundance of beans that I want and not hinder the growth of it either. So the A-frame here gives you both airflow and sun exposure, and you also have the airflow down the center once everything gets covered up. Now the way I position this way is in front of me is south, and so from the east and the west, this whole area will have sun, and the sun, the way it comes up in the summer, is directly over this spot, so it's going to work perfectly. So let's go over the dimensions that I got here. So The whole length of the trellis system is 18 feet long, and the height of it is about 7. I cut 8-foot poles. I got about a foot coming down, and I got a foot into the ground. So I got, what's that, 6, I guess? So it should work out great. The twine, I spaced about 6 inches, 5 to 6 inches apart. That way they have enough room for themselves and for others to grow amongst each other. And they have something to hold on to and grab onto as well. One thing that I might do for the ground is just for them to get onto the trellis system is go out in the forest and find some branches and just lean them against the bottom so that they can get up to that 1 foot mark and then latch onto the trellis system and go on. One thing that I did also do is I put in these cross pieces here from the back. That way when the beans do grow and add some weight to it, they do have some more support on there, and they won't be snapping the twine themselves. What I did was I didn't do it on every one, I did it on every third by the looks of it. I added a half hitch, and a half hitch is a type of tying method where it tightens onto something else. If you don't know anything about half hitches, I recommend you look into it because they are quite useful ways of hoisting, rigging, whatever you want to call it. But if you're looking into homesteading, rope tying is something that you might want to look into. So I also used the rope that was laying around on the property to keep everything together with the A-frame. And that way everything is secure and is strong enough to hold if we get any windstorms coming through, or in case our beans get tremendously big, that it can hold the weight. But we'll see how that happens going down. But I thought I'd give you a quick update on what's going on here. We have also been busy down in the garden planting our potatoes, our beets, carrots, a lot of our root vegetables are in already. However, it is at the end of May right now, and we are still getting overnight lows of almost freezing, and hence why this is not planted yet, and why I still might put in a second one or a third one, because I do have the time, and why not, if I have the space, put it out there, especially with the food prices on the rise. So if you're looking at any way to increase your space in growing beans and peas, I would recommend you trying out some sort of trellis system. It allows you to grow a lot more in a smaller space and do it more efficiently as well. Hopefully you got some good nuggets out of this one, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks again.